What if you could take the benefits that come from exercise, the fat burning, the metabolism increase, the endurance, the enhanced energy, and you could get those benefits without even having to step into a gym? That's what we're going to talk about today. There is a super fun, amazing peptide called SLUPP332, or SLUPP for short, and that's what we're going to cover today on the Superhuman Entrepreneur Podcast. Hi there, my name is Dr. Jeremy Epson, and welcome to the Superhuman Entrepreneur Podcast. We are covering a very important peptide today. This is going to be part of our peptide series where we dive in depth in some of the peptide therapies that are available out there because there's a lot of them. And this is a very important peptide called SLUPP332, or SLUPP, as well referred to it as SLUPP the rest of this podcast. So this information is great. It's for your use to be able to use and better understand that, but this is not a replacement for working with a practitioner who knows your situation and knows what's going on, knows your blood work, knows what's going on inside your body, and help you to optimize. So this is, for your information to be able to use, and really I'm creating this for our clients that we're working with, because then you can learn about what SLUPP is and the other peptides that we're going to be doing in this series so that you can optimize your health. So let's dive in. And so if you're already working with us and you are interested in this peptide or any of the other peptides we're going to talk about in our series, you can reach out to us and we can help you. Because depending on where you are, which program you're at, you can get these as part of your program, and that they can be there to help you, because peptides are not illegal to prescribe. If someone says that, they don't know what's going on, and you need to find a practitioner that knows how to adjust these with you properly, and that can prescribe them and use them in a good, effective, healthy way, because that's what they're there for, to help to optimize you. There's lots of amazing peptides that are coming out for your benefit, to help your body to perform better, to function better, to make up for lost time, to basically, be a time machine and move things forward and to accelerate results. And SLUPP is definitely one of those peptides. So let's dive in and talk about what is SLUPP. So SLUPP is a peptide, and it's the class of peptides that's called an exercise mimetic. And so what this does is this peptide mimics the effects of exercise in your mitochondria and in your cells. So we all know exercise is good for us. We all know when exercise happens, there are certain pathways that get triggered, certain gene pathways that turn on, certain other chemical pathways that work in our bodies, whether it's boosting our metabolism, increasing endurance, building muscle, with energy, with focus, with the endorphins, the happy messages that get released. All of these are released from exercise. And SLUPP is really interesting because it is a peptide that mimics those same effects. I've seen some places will advertise it as, exercise in a pill or things like this, but that's not entirely true. We'll talk about that. But it is a synthetic compound. This compound has been developed. It was a research done. There's lots of peptides, 50,000 plus peptides working in our body all the time. And this is a peptide that was developed and found that can hit these receptors in your mitochondria and stimulate those similar results. And so the specific group of receptors that it works on in your mitochondria, we'll cover the science short and quick, so we don't need to spend a deep dive there. But they're called estrogen-related receptors. So they actually are not estrogen receptors, but they are in the same genetic chain as some of the estrogen receptors, but they are very active in tissues that have a lot of mitochondria. So muscle cells, especially heart muscle cells, your brain, these tissues that work a lot, and almost in all mitochondria. So all cells in your body, you will use this, but it's a higher amount in those cells. So what this is saying is that one of the things that SLUPP does is it's so amazing because it actually helps regulate the mitochondria and helps your mitochondria to be more efficient, helps your mitochondria to act younger. And because of that, that's where the results come from. So some of the results and the benefits that you could get from SLUPP is the benefit of burning more fat. There's the benefit of increasing endurance, the benefit of having your mitochondria function younger, and which will then help your cells to function in a younger way. And so it's really great for endurance, really great for metabolism. It's really good for insulin sensitivity and boosting that whole pathway. So it fits right in with someone who is, super busy, time is short, and we want to be able to maximize the effects of it. And so yes, it can do some of those things by itself, but it works best and works even better when you do exercise with it. So you're doing a combination. So like, I know, like I just finishing a month of crazy travel when I was at multiple events, speaking at different business masterminds, business events, and around the country. A lot of traveling, too much time in airport, not enough sleeping good, all those things. And so something like Sloop would be really beneficial during that time to keep my metabolism working its best, so I don't notice the slowdown of all the type of travel like that. So that's kind of the best way that it works. So it hits those receptors, activates the mitochondrial function, which leads to fat burning, leads to better utilization of sugar with glucose. It reduces inflammation in the cells, and it helps how your body uses and produces energy overall. So this is really great because it's going to address one of the big hallmarks of aging. And that's one of our things that we're addressing here as the Superhuman Entrepreneur, is we're addressing the hallmarks of aging, which is specifically mitochondrial dysfunction. Because if your mitochondria stop functioning, your cells stop functioning, and they become senescent and slow you down until you die. And so mitochondrial dysfunction is a big hallmark of aging that we address with that. So multiple other benefits that come with it. As we're getting increased cellular production, we have less oxidative stress, less stress in our cells. We have better cardiovascular health, better endurance. We have improved muscle health. We have better metabolism, less insulin resistance, and better brain functioning, better focus, and better mental clarity. So ultimately, that's what it's doing. We're using this peptide in a way to boost what the body's doing and boost your body's energy and cell functioning. That could potentially have great benefits. We know exercise is good for us long term. This SLUPP peptide can help with that. Slow aging and decline that is happening in our body. So there's a few studies that have been out. This peptide was originally developed from the University of Florida, and in animal studies, they've been able to show that the animal is able to lose and burn specifically amount of fat. So it's really great for body composition. It's better for glucose sensitivity, so is and insulin sensitivity, and improving all that. And some of the studies on it are kind of crazy. How these trained mice would run longer and farther than those without, that didn't have the treatment. So really amazing stuff that is doing on. It's really exciting because this is not just a Band-Aid. This is something that can truly be used as part of a protocol to increase long-term benefits. So the longevity benefits are there, but then also address the short-term issues of difficulty losing weight and being stuck and plateaued on weight loss, without compromising. With some of the other peptides, you're not going to compromise muscle. You're not going to compromise some of those other things that are there. The negatives that come along with that. You're not going to damage your craving centers long-term, or your glucose sensitivity long-term, but used in a way that's safe and effective long-term. In fact, some of the early studies in humans have been showing the benefits that it has for your organs, like your kidneys and your liver and your heart and your blood vessels and your brain. All of that definitely beneficial. Long-term, I can see the more we understand about this peptide, the more we use this peptide and see the results. I can see the long-term benefits of preventing and reversing diabetes and prediabetes and heart disease and all those other inflammatory pathways, as well as being a key piece in helping healthy brain health and healthy dementia prevention long-term and different things like that. So definitely it's really key and beneficial for that. And ultimately that's important, because if you are a high performer and higher achiever and want to live and enjoy life for a long term, being able to address all those things is really, really important and vital. A lot of people we work with are these superhuman entrepreneurs that are there. They're running a busy business. They're working really hard, and then they want to get home and show up and be the best for themselves. And so this is a peptide that, for basically everyone, its safety profile is super huge, can be beneficial in that, whether it's, short term, helping you to address your insulin resistance issues and help your macro counting to work better, but also to, on the busy weeks when your workouts aren't quite as good as they need to be, you can still maximize the benefit that comes from that. And not just for your body composition, so for building muscle and burning fat, but also for your brain and for your heart and for your other organs that are there, because ultimately that mitochondrial decline is affecting every one of your cells in your body. And so if we can keep your mitochondria function their best, it's kind of like almost a cheat code in how good it can work, and help your body to function amazing in the short term and the long-term benefits that go along with it. Hey, Dr. J here. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and like the information that we're providing, be sure to subscribe and leave a review and like the podcast, because it helps us to be able to expand our reach to find other entrepreneurs. Your support helps us to reach other entrepreneurs and help us to help them truly unlock their superhuman potential and make the world a better place. So I'm really excited that we were able to find the premier quality provider for these that has, it is manufactured in the same facilities with third-party testing, US sourced, checking all the boxes for quality, and that big pharma companies are using and meeting those standards that are there. So we're really excited for that. And of course, for those of you that are listening, that are working with us, you can be able to have access to that. So it's not something, it's a peptide. So we're not just handing it out like candy to anyone. You need to be working with us if you want to access that. But this is for those of you that are not working with us. We want to make sure that you understand the benefits, and that you also then do your due diligence and find a good source with this. And like I said, ideally work with someone who knows what they're doing. If you don't know, check us out. We kind of hopefully have got things figured out. Ideally. So, right. So who should consider using this peptide? If you are busy, if you are a high performer, an entrepreneur, an executive, interested in longevity, like pushing yourself to the extreme, this is for you. If you are a biohacker and want long-term health, want long-term focus, long-term performance, if you are an athlete, professional athlete, if you're professional, sorry, this is probably not approved, but still, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be, because it is what it is. This is for you. If you have metabolic concerns, if you have had difficulty losing weight or have plateaued in your weight loss, dealt with any type of insulin resistance or prediabetes or diabetes or heart disease, and or feel like you're doing everything right, but these conditions are not reversing, then this peptide's for you. This peptide works great for people who are doing hormone replacement and have gotten the benefits of hormone replacement, but want to take things to the next level. This is a really great next step to add in, along with some other peptides we'll be talking about. So this is really key. The safety profile, of this peptide is so safe and so good that as long as you're getting it from a good source, it should be doing really good for you. So there are, of course, a few people who should not be taking this. So like I said, this peptide works best when you already have the foundations of health in place. This is true for all peptides. So across the board, all peptides work better when you are healthier. So if you need to get those foundations of health in place first, eating right, exercising, sleeping well, moving, because this is not a magic pill. This is a pill that works with your body. And so as you get those foundational pieces in place, you're taking your vitamins, you've done vitamin tests to know what you're deficient in and address those deficiencies. You're getting your protein goals in, you're eating right, you're not eating the junk, you're sleeping well, you're doing all those things. That's when this peptide is going to work its best. So definitely get those addressed first. If you're going to be choosing where to invest your funds to improve your health, invest in those areas first before spending money on a fancy peptide, which fancy peptides are super fun. And we've been prescribing them, of course, for a long time, which is why we want to share this information about them, but we want to do that. So, and of course, if you have active cancer, this peptide is probably not for you. Talk with someone more specifically about your situation before you would do something like this. That same thing goes for people that are pregnant or breastfeeding or trying to get pregnant. One of the dumbest things that you can do is if you're trying to get pregnant and then take something that you're trying to lose weight or some of the other peptides. But anyway, that's not the same. This can't be for you. It's saying that you need to, if you're in those situations with active cancer or pregnant or trying to get pregnant or breastfeeding, talk to your provider and talk to someone who knows your situation individually to know if this can be beneficial for you. And also, this is not a magic pill. It is pretty close as it comes to being a magic pill, but it's not for everyone. And of course, there's some individual difference for those. And it is ultimately where this works best is the long-term benefits that come from that. So if you're looking for a short-term quick fix, yes, SLUPP is really great, but the ultimate benefits of this peptide are the long-term benefits that come with it, of improving your metabolism, improving your body composition, mental clarity, your cellular health that comes with healthy mitochondrial function. That's where SLUPP shines its best. And I will say, SLUPP is being tested and developed. It's in some early stages of testing. The great thing about peptides is peptides can be available and used from a clinician who knows how to prescribe them correctly, without having to wait for all the big pharma rigmarole to run through. So definitely, of course, more research is needed. And the more time that passes, the more research that happens, the more we'll be able to understand the benefits of all these peptides. So definitely keep follow and subscribe to our podcast. When more information comes out, we will over time, of course, give you the best information possible to help you make the best decision for health. Because as we do this and as we build, like I said, start with the foundation, build and optimize as we go and add in some of the fancy peptides and the things we're going to be talking about. And that's how we can really ultimately create you and help you become a superhuman entrepreneur. If you're enjoying the podcast, help us reach more entrepreneurs like you by leaving a review. As a thank you, everyone who leaves a 5-star review will be entered into a drawing for some exciting prizes. We are here to help you more than just listen. Head over to superhumanentrepreneur.com, click on community, and join a powerful network of entrepreneurs that are striving to be their best. Each episode includes action steps, resources, and accountability to help you to implement these ideas and start seeing results.